Ladies and gentlemen, another exciting one today. How many people dream about having that awesome garage, right? America is so much about their cars, and then you got to keep those awesome cars in a beautiful place like your garage. And you can do so much more with your garage these days. Welcome to the Your Little Castle Show. Carter Rethwish, aka the Cardinal Cowboy. We've got an expert in the building here, the owner of Garage Designs of St. Louis. Going to talk to us about the exciting things you can do to make your garage awesome, like an extension of your house, right?
Absolutely.
Very cool. All right, with that, we'll do a quick shout out. We've got our TV wall still up here on the wide shot. Carroll House Furniture, Brooke, because you like nice things in your little castle, of course. And that might include your garage, right? So what would you like to do to make a beautiful garage? And you can put some nice furniture from Carroll House in your garage, too.
I don't see why not.
Right? And maybe a lounge chair, maybe a table, whatever.
Tie it all together.
They make it all look good. So thanks to Brooke and Carroll House. And if you have a nice house, you had to get that thing paid for. USA Mortgage. I've teamed up with the Flowers team. We're just big supporters of them. They've helped us make this thing all happen. And so shout out to those guys for doing a great job. He and his wife, Emily, do a great job. But that leads us to the real excitement we've got here for everybody as we put up on the wall some of the most beautiful work. When I saw the work you had available, I was like, we got to get this guy on the show, man. He knows his stuff. This stuff is awesome. And this is what everybody dreams about, having one of those beautiful garages. And you get those floors that are all marble looking and everything.
Oh, yeah. Is
that what you do? Why did you decide you wanted to get into this, Brandon?
You know, it was just tired of doing concrete, and this was the next best thing. And I just really loved the whole transformation of making a garage a whole piece that is just something entirely of its own. You know, you can go in there and utilize the space, every nook and cranny, do whatever you need to do, and just seeing the people love it, and that's all I cared about.
Yeah, and it just turns out to be an incredible feature added to a house that makes it awesome. That's
right.
Cool. Tell me why you love what you're doing.
So it's just nice to see, a complete renovation of a garage, before and afters. It's awesome.
Tell me why you decided to get into this and said, hey, man, this is what I want to do.
I just love just the complete transformation of a garage. It's almost like an art, You
love the way it looks. You like
yeah,
it turns out. I mean, you're really impacting the life of a family here. They've got this beautiful house, and then the garage is always kind of like, They left that thing on its own. Now I've got this beautiful marble look, and they got the cabinets. You make it look like it's part of the house now.
Yeah, completely transform it.
Tell me, what is this most fulfilling about being able to put together something like this? It's so neat. That really brings the elegance of a house out. You're not getting the full use of the whole house and the garage now.
Yeah, I mean, you get more function and more storage. You can hide all the ugly things that you don't want to see, push them in a cabinet, different compartments, all that fun stuff. So it's really nice to just put everything together and get a space that you really enjoy. You're not just looking at a dingy garage. It's something more.
Yeah, I mean, when these things are done, and we're going to show everybody some of the work here. You guys got to see the stuff Brandon's put together. It's amazing. But you really take the extension. A lot of people, they enjoy the family room, the bonus room, right, the living area. But man, that garage, it's just like you can bounce the basketball in there now, not have to worry about shaking the house and whatever. And you've just got these places finished out. Tell me, is that exciting for you to be able to put that smile in somebody's house?
Face, I mean,
after they see the work you've done.
When a group of people get together, some people just use it as a man cave or whatever, hers cabinets. People can really do whatever they want in the garage and make it their own unique space. And that's the cool thing. Is not one garage is the same as another garage. They're all different needs, different wants. It's just fun to do.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, you're really giving you're personalizing somebody's garage. Instead of it just being some place where there's a bunch of concrete and wood posts, and now they finish them with some wallboard, and you'll see the plaster and some tape they put up there, right?
Right.
The plaster tape. But now you really get to have something that it turns it into. It's almost like a game room for everybody. It makes it into a fantabulous place where they like the showroom for their car. I mean, it's really takes the house to another level.
Yeah. So I mean, people like to showcase different things. Like I said, there's people that like to have like car night, man caves. I just had a guy this week saying he was thinking about having a Super Bowl party in the garage. Now that we're done with his garage, I was like, well, sweet. Whatever, each their own.
Do people put TVs in the garage then and then have a big screen on the wall?
Absolutely.
Or maybe even a projector? I mean, I guess, everybody's over saying, we're going to watch a Super Bowl in my new man cave game room.
Right, yeah. I mean,
and show off.
People put mini fridges, a bunch of things. They really deck it out. It's just really cool to see, people bring ideas to me, and we can really just work with it and make, I'm learning as we go, just the different ideas that they have.
And so do people still keep the traditional bicycle hanging from the ceiling in there?
Yeah, we get them.
It still make it functional, and the hose that's hanging on the wall. But above it and right on the floor, it's got that beautiful, it looks like marble finish, everybody. Like I said, we'll show you some of these pictures.
Yeah. So there's the, the metallic floors, which gives it the marble look, or you can do just the flake epoxy, which is pretty common, pretty versatile, blends in with a bunch of different colors with all the different colored flakes. So it's nice.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, these things look dynamite. What was it that led you to this? Is this a hobby as a kid? You were like, oh, I like to play around in the garage, or I like to construct and make things beautiful as opposed to just letting it be?
So graduated high school, got into the concrete field, and so concrete and epoxy go pretty hand in hand.
Gotcha.
So just from there, doing concrete was getting hard on the body. I was getting tired of doing it, so really just transitioned my way more into doing epoxy and just love it,
Okay, yeah, because now you can be a lot more artistic. I guess don't get me wrong, my concrete guys, I've got some friends, they've got now the stamps that make it look kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
And those are pretty neat, but that's more for the outdoor. You're fixing the inside of somebody's garage where they're going to actually put that car, literally it looks like a showroom. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you guys, how many of you guys go to the car dealer and you're like, hey man, they got the glass marble pictures, framing, iron, metal, steel, all the stuff that looks beautiful, windows.
Right.
You can make that all happen now in somebody's garage.
Oh yeah. The sky's the limit.
Okay.
So
that's exciting. I mean, when I heard you were going to be on the show, I was like, this is going to be a fun one. Like I said, we'll show off a lot of what you've done here. Is there a personal hobby that led to this as a kid, or were you kind of an outdoors type or heavy lifting guy? Did you like construction or?
So growing up, I was really liked art. I was more of a musician, so having my own space to where I could be loud. So, in a garage, it's usually where I was hanging out or helping my grandpa do whatever in a car in the garage, and just seeing like clutter everywhere, just thinking, man, there's ways we could do this better. So,
yeah, well, as somebody who spends a lot of time in the garage, tell me, how long has this industry been around? Because it seems to me that like it was pretty much all through when I was living in with my parents' house, but down in Fenton, not too far from where you went to Fox, right? So
yes, sir.
I grew up not far from L.A., which is Arnold for everybody, Lower Arnold, and then Lower Afton. But I grew up from Fenton, so we were the lower part of the Afton area or the Arnold area there, I guess, whatever. But the houses, they were just, you had the studs, you had raw wood there sometimes, and they just didn't finish houses like this, like they do now. Mm-hmm. How long has this industry been around?
So we've been around since 2002. The industry itself, I can't imagine any time before the 90s, really.
Yeah. It's just like it wasn't a common practice, it didn't seem.
Oh, no.
For people to.
I think the epoxy was more in like restaurants and, hospitals, stuff like that, not really such a residential thing.
Okay. Somebody from the epoxy industry said if we're doing this for restaurants and hospitals, why can't we do this inside of homes?
Right.
Expand their base a little bit.
Right. So,
more clientele.
As the time went on, I guess it got more affordable, and that was that.
So you've been involved specifically in this industry since, was that 2002, or when did you start?
No, so I started in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you joined another company, and then is that the company you took over?
Yeah, so I was working for a company, and basically they were doing the epoxy floors for garage designs. And that's how I met the owner, and because I started doing the epoxies, and then I was the foreman running the gig on the epoxy floors. And so just stayed in touch with the owner, after I left that place, and he wanted to sell, and here we are.
You said, hey man, I'd like to buy. This is a fun industry, and I can keep doing what I'm doing, and now not be the foreman, I can be the owner.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's pretty exciting.
It's got a nice little ring to it.
There you go, the owner, everybody. Well, and tell me, what about this keeps you going every day? You talked about your artistic background. You are a musician. I asked you what you play, and you're like, threw out 7 different things you play. I'm like, wow, this guy plays the drums, the guitar, the piano. You're quite the musician, too. And is that part of that? So now you get to express some of that creativity you have?
Yeah.
Because when you're designing a house like this, you really make it happen?
So I feel like, if you have a little, your pulse on, any kind of art, you just kind of like all kinds of art. It just kind of spans across. So really redoing a whole garage, it's finessing so many little parts and pieces, make everything fit like a bigger picture than what it really is, than just, like I said, a dingy garage. We want to make something better.
Right, and I could only imagine this. There's so much more left to the creativity here. How often do you have somebody says, "Here's the garage design I want," and I've got it all planned out before they come to you, or more often you have to walk them through what they can do? They just saw somebody's and they don't really understand what goes into that.
So it's mostly me guiding them through. Very rarely does someone have the whole thing planned out. Which either way, I welcome it.
Right.
Either way, we can help them get it taken care of.
But when they're coming to you, are you saying, okay, let me show you, you say, I'm going to give you a rendition of what you think based on a discussion and say, I would like to have something that can do this, and I want to be able to still saw, cut, do some woodwork or whatever. And then I also want to watch TV, and you take kind of their ideas and you used to come back to them and present them and say, all right, here's what I've put together. Tell me what you like. We can move things around here, and then you put it together?
Yeah, so basically something like that, yeah. So they'll have a rough idea. They, need everything off the floor is usually the big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, getting shovels, rakes, everything hung on the wall. They'll have an idea, sometimes they'll go off one of our past jobs that they see online and they'll give us something like this that they want, and then we just go from there and knock it out for them.
Make it happen. What is probably what's the coolest part about what you get to do when it comes down to it? It seems like that floor is just the amazing finish you put on the floor. A garage dingy concrete floor is ugly and boring.
Oh yeah.
At least it's smooth. They always have those control cracks, I guess. All right. Is there a purpose for those? And do you help fill those in, or how do you deal with that? And how what's it like to transform that from old, ugly, and dingy to something that just looks like a showroom?
Oh yeah. So there's the stretch cracks because concrete naturally it's going to crack. The heating and expansion, contraction, all that fun stuff. It needs a place to crack. So we go in, we fill in all the cracks, all that fun stuff, and make it just a seamless floor.
Okay.
Just give it, really nice, looks like solid. If you do the metallic, you can look like a giant piece of marble or granite, whatever your preference is. And then, the flakes, it's just as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put up here on the wall because you keep talking about it. So now I got to start showing some people. So take a look here on the wall. So there you can see that floor looks absolutely beautiful, and that's what you're letting people turn this. That doesn't really look like a garage to me. That looks like somebody, almost like I said, like a showroom, as you can see up on the wall for everybody there. That is beautiful. But you really went back to that and you said, hey, here's that control crack. Let's go in here and fill that in so you don't see any of those lines. And now, if I didn't see the garage door hanging above over here, I guess I'm going to point to that. See, everybody see that on the far top above? If I didn't see that garage door, I might not think that was somebody's garage.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the ladder. But other than that, you're like, this looks like the showroom of somebody's business or something like that. Is that kind of the concept? You're just trying to give some people that little...
just make it feel more of a home than just a dungeon. Make it really pop, a place where they can enjoy, have friends over, hang out, just carefree kind of deal.
And so is it also you have to finish a lot of wallboard a lot of times? So you have to get some more tape and then paint the walls? Because like I said, that's a finished wall. That is nothing, there's nothing there that looks like, I'll put this up again for everybody to see, but it looks like that's the garage wall. I mean, it's behind there, obviously. Was it just a matter of mudding and taping it to make it look right? And then once that was done, you painted it and then cornered it and got the edges. And I mean, it looks like a finished room.
Yeah,
except you happen to have a ladder on the wall there, right?
So a lot of the homes, a lot of these home builders that build, like mass quantities of homes, they usually don't finish the garage. A lot of people don't really look for it. But yeah, so we'll come in, insulate, drywall, tape, mud, paint, all the fun stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put up on here for everybody to see a little bit more of what we're doing here because, like I said, the most exciting part of the show for me, that's why I had to jump to it, was to show some people the work that you've done. And so take a look here. I'll go wide to see that we are here. We've got our 2 TV walls here, everybody. But I'm going to zoom in and show exclusively. Now, did the car come with the garage, or did the car come with what you did?
So the car was there prior.
Right.
Unfortunately, they didn't pay us to put that in.
Right. So, hey, bring a Corvette while you're at it. But I could tell, if you take a look at those cabinets now. Wow, did you peel that right off of the Corvette and match the paint there? How did you make that look so good?
The color of the cabinets is actually called Corvette Red, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so it works. This guy, he had his car and he was like, I want something that is basically to home the Corvette. And then we just made it work and had everything matched, tied it all together, made it a real nice little home for the Corvette.
Yeah, I'd say if it's like the Corvette has its own little quarters for the residents there. And
Yeah, that's not sitting outside.
and I have somebody who lives in my neighborhood that actually still have they've got something car they're working on in the garage, and they have their Corvette outside. I need to have them give you a call, make this space more work. Do you ever put people on lifts and put what kind of stuff do you put in these garages?
Yeah, so we don't put in the lifts, but we have a company that we just refer out for people to do lifts and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it really helps utilize the space, especially you have a Corvette. A lot of people are just having those in the air, especially during wintertime.
Right.
Don't want to keep that in the ground, don't want to have that out in the salt and all that fun stuff.
Well, that's very slick and very cool. I mean, I'm going to call my neighbor and say, hey, Scotty, I didn't say his last name, but maybe it's Mark, I forget. But get that Corvette, put it inside, put it above, and then you can still work underneath it. But those lifts, what do those lifts go for? I was looking at them years ago.
So they vary.
3 to 10.
Yeah, you could get 2 posts for like 3,000, or you could go with the big industrial something for like 10,000.
Okay.
So they vary, but it's worth it if you're trying to utilize all the space in your garage.
And if somebody like you would take that and say, hey, we're going to make this thing look beautiful with the lift in the middle of it, which is kind of an ornery looking big mechanical thing, but make it so. But back to the looking at the garage here. I mean, this thing. Look at that floor, everybody. I'm going to put this back up. I'm sorry, I'm not showing it right. Look at that floor. That is like quartered off, so you've got the 4 different corners there and on the floor, and then the Corvette pulled up right up in the corner there. Beautiful stuff, man. You're impressing the heck out of me. I really like this.
Oh, thank you.
let me go beyond here. We'll go talk about some of them. So you do help people to become organized then too. Is that what you got here? Everything's off the floor now, like you said. You've got this panel with a little grid thing. Explain to me what that panel's called and how people use those.
So the panel's called slat wall, and basically we just screw it right into the studs. We find all the studs, and then it comes with various hooks and baskets. There's hundreds. We keep the common ones, but there's a bunch of them. And, we really just see what all they have, try to talk to the customers, see what they need to store, and then we kind of point them in the right direction of what hooks and baskets are best for them.
I kind of organize them. I mean, they can move those things around according to each one of those rails I see up there. Now you can just slide your hook or whatever into that. I bought a little bitty one, just one little piece. I wish I had that whole panel going across there. I could put everything up there. But you've even got the basketballs hanging up, the cornhole boards, the little blade runners and bikes and skis. This is how, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you stay organized. So get a hold of our friends here at Garage Designs. Boy, I tell you, Brandon, you're doing some great work here, and it makes it look beautiful. So
I appreciate it.
Keep that up. Let's take a look here. But let's not just take what I have to say. I'm obviously enthused. I think this is neat. I want to show you a little bit about what everyone else has had to say, because you've got quite a few reviews out there for people who've taken the time after you've done work with them, and they said, hey, we like what Brandon's done, Garage Designs of St. Louis, and you've got a 4.8 out of 36 reviews. So obviously doing this for a little while, getting some people to say some nice things.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to read a couple of these off here. Garage Designs of St. Louis was amazing to work with. Professional team delivered. I'm going to put this up for everybody to see too. A quality product at a competitive price. We've received so many compliments. We would highly recommend Brandon and team. There you go. And let's go down just a little bit more here and see if we've got, I got a long one there. Professionalism, punctuality, positive professionalism. Here we go again. Here we go. Creating the perfect garage space has always been my dream, a dream of mine. After months of planning and collaboration with a team of professionals, I finally transformed my vision into reality with the help of Brandon and his team. Maximizing every inch of space the garage offers. Storage solutions like custom cabinets, wall-mounted shelving, and overhead racks. It's provided dedicated workbench and tool chest, making DIY projects a pleasure. Everything is neat, organized, and especially and easily accessible. All right, so some people are saying some great things about you, man. How's that make you feel when you get those kinds of reviews and that kind of feedback from your, clients?
It definitely makes you want to stay in the industry, keep doing what you're doing. When people really just seeing the expression on their face, not even if they leave a review, just seeing like, oh wow, this is wild, and it's just awesome. Really making people's day and feeling like they're putting money into something that's really nice, and I just love doing what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, you're taking something and making it look beautiful. Like I said, there's a lot of people, they upgrade the new carpet or new floors or painting. All those things are dynamite. But boy, you really make a difference taking a garage from that old.
It's a complete 180 for sure. It is
a huge upgrade. And tell me, has anybody evaluated what the improvement or the value of the house? It must improve some of the value of the house.
It does increase it. It's hard to say just because it varies per project to project, but It definitely adds value.
Yeah, I was saying there's nothing here that's going to make it.
And when a lot of people, when they go to see these houses, usually you walk through the garage to get into the house.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big selling point.
First impression people may get from seeing something like that,
yeah.
they're going, look at this, man. They got this marble-looking floor on the going on here that makes it pretty exciting for everybody. Well, with that in mind, you have some competitors out there. What would you say is the one thing that really sets you apart to help you keep that edge, to keep growing and doing the great work that you do?
So a lot of the competition is franchises.
Okay.
So, we're local, and it's just, you just hate this.
No, I get it, because when you've got your own franchise,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool, but you still got to answer to the corporate people above you.
Right.
When it comes down to making a decision, though, somebody who's the owner of a local, independently owned location, now there's a lot more control you have, I guess. Is that a big advantage you bring?
Oh, yeah. So, with a franchise, you have to do it their way, the way they say. You got to use their products, do right to whatever. I'm not a franchise, I don't know. So whatever their contract says, and, with us, we really can break away and see, oh, wow, you have this problem. We can try this product to fix what you have going on, and, really break out of the shell and continue to help us learn where, it seems like they're more set in a singular way.
Okay.
A
little more cookie cutter and a lot less of autonomy for you to create that individual project to really touch into the needs that they have specifically. I notice now that I'm looking at what's on the wall over there, the garage is obviously faded here, because at the very end there's no little bitty lip for the cement on going up on the wall, but you finished up on that too, because no garage is completely flat. The water needs to flow, I guess.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
For people too. But these are all the little things that you can accommodate, because you're not restricted with any kind of regulations by Big Papa Bear at the top looking down at you saying, hey, do it this way or else. You have complete control. I dealt with another situation not long ago where essentially I said, here's some extra things we can do, and I could tell they were like, ooh, but I got to get franchise corporate to approve that.
Yeah.
And that just puts a big kind of a little bit of a hold on what you can offer people. And so I guess what you're saying is you get to do whatever they need, you can make it work.
Yeah, and if there's any discrepancies or anything, you can talk to me straight away. I can only imagine what ladder you have to climb to talk to someone in these franchises, but
I would imagine most times you can't get to talk to them ever. You got to go through somebody. You got to go to somebody. They send an email. You follow up a week later, and then they say, "Oh well, we're evaluating that," or the answer is no. But you try back in 6 months. If you're talking to the man, the owner, the guy who makes the decisions, they're talking to you. That's who they got to talk to.
Oh yeah.
Okay. There we go. So now we're doing some community stuff there, taking it hold and doing things to make a little. Change the world just a little bit. So that's where we put the hat on for you, though. Good job with that, and keep up the good work with all the work.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Tell me then, what is one of the mistakes that consumers often make? As we finish up show number 1 here, everybody, we're going to show number 2. We're giving Brandon an entire hour, so two separate half hours. If you watch the first show here on ABC, or you saw it on our YouTube, or we'll give a copy to our guests, you saw it on their internet, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, YouTube. Make sure you watch the second show too. A lot more inside information we're going to share there. But with that, back to that question is one of my favorites. What's one of the biggest mistakes that consumers make when they're considering getting their garage finished like this?
Sure. So a lot of people really, the floors. People love the floors, but then after we do the floors, they're like, oh wow, we didn't do any storage. So then we got to come back, 6 months, a year later, and then we're throwing stuff up. So it's not really a problem, but it's just, we could just get it in one swift movement and make it a little less painful for everyone. You don't have to worry about getting everything out of the garage and making room and all that fun stuff.
Tell me, is it cheaper to do it all at once because there's less hauling and back and forth and coordinating, and there might even be some design changes you might make, because if these cabinets go over here versus where they have to put them now, and they have to tear something out, but they plan that better, all those things work better to do that all at once.
Right. So we actually had, we put some cabinets on the wall, and then this guy, we had to go back, take the cabinets out, put them, he ended up losing 2 cabinets because he ended up putting a sink there, and I was like, oh wow, well, that's a bummer, but
yeah,
worked out.
A lot of those changes are going to be made a lot easier. So the mistake people make is not looking at the big picture.
Right.
And
we try to guide them to, like, this is what we could do. When I go there, I'll tell them, like, oh, well, you could do this with this and put this there, and, we can include anything proposal. You don't want it, we take it off, and that's that.
Yeah, I'd say, how often is it the case when you're doing this and somebody's, do you go in with the builder ever? Or is this always something that's done afterward? Do you ever coincide and work with builders and say, hey, if you're going to add this, offer this as a feature? Or is it always something somebody does after they've had their house finished?
Yeah, so we work with a couple builders, but very rarely, you know, it's one of those things I feel like you don't want a builder to do it. Like, you know, it seems like the customers want to talk directly to us, so we know exclusively what they want. You know, when you go into these cookie cutter homes, it's kind of, it is what the showroom that you saw before you bought the house. So really, you can just really do whatever you want with the garage, and we come and make it easy.
That's what we like to hear. So I just, very exciting to see what you can do here. I want to give a little bit more shout out for a couple of the pictures that you decided to share with us, because these things look great. And when you're putting this kind of work into something, this is a heck of an investment you can make in your house to make everything just look awesome and turn out great, so you can make a big improvement. Another design there, similar floor design, different little color, I guess, or is this a different, this is not the same garage, this is
No, this is a different garage.
one.
Yeah.
And so tell me what's going on with this one. Cabinets, bikes, ladders, everything's off the floor again.
Yeah, it's just simple storage. You know, this isn't anything too crazy. You know, they just wanted everything off the ground, place to keep some totes, you know, some various little things in the little cabinets, make it a little workbench so they can do, you know, work on whatever. But yeah.
But nice little workspace, storage, and then anything that they needed. It looks so neat. This is like you're on a TV show where they say, "Hey, everybody, come in and shoot the video here of our work set we're going to do here." Or, you know, what show is that? Tool Time or whatever. And everything's just so well organized. You're bringing that to life for people to have such an awesome looking setup right there in their own home.
Yeah, like I said, no one wants a dingy garage. They want it to look nice. They want functionality. They just want complete ease of mind when they look in the garage and can find whatever they're looking for that's not buried behind 15 other shovels.
Right. Okay, everybody, we're finishing up this first show. We got another minute here left. I'm going to share with everybody. Take a look at garage-designs.com. I've got that on the wall. I'm going to put it up for everybody to see here. But lots of great information here, too. Some awesome, the gallery. So we got an exclusive look there, some of the newest photos that aren't out there just yet, but they will be. But you can see here, yeah, we're talking about those car lifts. That's what I'm talking about, man. There you go. Put those up, make it nice and neat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then everything else that you might be interested in being organized. Race car garage storage, epoxy floors, man. So look at some of those floors. But there is just so much you can do that makes this, it just sets the world apart to have this kind of setup in your house. So if you're going to do this, do it right. Get a hold of my buddy Brandon here and show off what you've got there, because this stuff can really make, this is something that sets a house apart, I think.
Oh, yeah.
There's just not every house has something like this.
No, very rarely do you see it, and you know, it's just such a nice little change, I think. You know, and floors are super easy to clean, get everything off the floor. You know, you could move the in-laws in the garage if you wanted to.
All right, everybody, that brings the end of this show, Your Little Castle Show. Stay tuned for more, but check out everything Brandon's got going on there, garage-designs.com. You're watching Your Little Castle Show.